We're going to go through every single team in Major League Baseball, and we're going to pinpoint their most surprising player from last season. I love making these videos because we get to talk about guys that don't get a lot of shine, so without further ado, let's get into the video. Starting off with the Arizona Diamondbacks, you guys are probably wondering, Fuzzy, why am I looking at Corbin Carroll, the literal rookie of the year? Well, the reason why he's the most surprising to me, he became the first player ever to have 50 plus stolen bases, 25 plus home runs, and 10 plus triples in one single MLB season, and he did that as a rookie. Now, I think that we can all agree that Corbin Carroll was going to be good, but did we all think that he was going to be a near MVP candidate? I don't know about that. He was also a stud defender as well. MLB ranked this play as the number 6 player of the entire 2023 season, and I can see why. The dude was flying out there. Coming up next, the player who quite literally made Vaughn Grissom expendable, Orlando Arcia, Mr. Attaboy Harper himself. Now, I kind of feel bad because of how that situation played out, but Arcia, he was very surprising. The fact that he made an all-star team was shocking to me. Now, you can make the argument that possibly Francisco Lindor got robbed, maybe Geraldo Perdomo earned it, but you can't argue with the fact that Orlando Arcia in the first half of 2023, he was special. Orlando Arcia is one of the best defensive shortstops in baseball. That's why he's always going to have a job. But offensively last year, the fact that he smoked 17 home runs along with 25 doubles, I did not see that coming. What about you? For the Baltimore Orioles, I wanted to give it to Kyle Bradish, who got some Cy Young picks in 2023. But for me, I'm going to go with Yennier Cano because I didn't know Yennier Cano existed before the season even began. If you guys don't remember, at the beginning of the year, Yennier Cano became the second pitcher in MLB history to go their first 9 games of a season without allowing not just a walk, but a hit as well. He was absolutely unhittable, and he was clutch down the stretch for the Orioles, considering that the Mountain Felix Bautista, he went out with an injury. Cano, he turned in a 2.11 ERA as a rookie. That's impressive. Not gonna lie, coming into 2023, I had lost a lot of hope in Jarren Duran, and thankfully, by the graces of the baseball gods, Jarren Duran, he broke out. The crazy part about Jarren Duran, he missed 60 games. I'm gonna repeat that. He missed 60 games and somehow turned in 34 doubles and 24 stolen bases. On top of the 24 stolen bases, he was only caught twice. All of this on top of hitting 295 on the season with the 121 OPS plus. If you genuinely saw the breakout season coming from Jarren Duran, you should withdraw everything in your 401k and go play the lottery because you're just lucky. From 2021 to 2022, Duran hit 219 with the 69 OPS plus, so it made me happy to see Jarren Duran, who I called the next Grady Sizemore, kind of play like Grady Sizemore. Now, if you're a White Sox fan, I just want to go ahead and say I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm being disrespectful or dismissive of your team, but truthfully, I don't think that anyone deserves to be on this list because I wasn't really surprised by anyone. I'm going to give it to Luis Robert Jr. though. The surprising part was that Luis actually played more than 100 games for the first time in his entire career. He played 56 back in the shortened season, so I guess that was the majority of the games. He played 68 in 2021, 98 in 2022, and in 2023, he was an all-star. He had 38 home runs, 36 doubles, a 128 OPS plus, and he was one of the best defenders in all of Major League Baseball. So we finally got a glimpse as to what La Pantera could be when fully healthy and playing 140 plus games. I was shocked at the fact that he stayed so healthy, but I needed to keep up because he's special. Let's go ahead and talk about the Chicago Cubs' most surprising player, and if you're not going with Cody Bellinger, I'm sorry, you just don't know ball because we finally got our sweet prince back. I was not expecting this breakout season. As a rookie in 2017, Cody Bellinger broke out for 39 home runs and a 143 OPS plus. He won MVP in 2019, but then as we saw from 2021 to 2022, he combined for a 193 batting average and a 66 OPS plus. So the fact that he had a second breakout season, it made me very happy. So on top of getting prime Cody Bellinger back in the batter's box, he was also a stud defender as well, 5 outs above average. He has one of the best arms in all of baseball. I just hope that when he finally does get paid, it's a lot of money because to me, he deserves it. For the Cincinnati Reds, I almost gave it to Matt McLain, the rookie, but I gotta go with TJ Friedl because I did not see TJ Friedl exploding for 18 home runs. And I'm looking at his baseball reference page right now. I forgot that TJ Friedl, on top of hitting 18 home runs, he racked up 27 stolen bases as well to go along with a 352 on base percentage, a 118 OPS plus, and defensively, he was making some special plays out there. I did not see TJ Friedl turning in a 4 WAR for the Cincinnati Reds. Who saw this coming? I'll answer that. No one. For the Cleveland Guardians, I'm going to go with an honorable mention real quick, Josh Naylor, and that's simply because we all know that Josh Naylor can rake, but from 2021 to 2022, he was useless against lefties, and then in 2023, he shocked the world by hitting 300 with 5 home runs against lefties. I mean, that blew my mind as a Guardians fan, but the right pick is Tanner Bybee. As a Guardians fan, I knew that Tanner Bybee was going to be special, but for the average baseball fan, you probably didn't even know that Tanner Bybee existed before 2023. This kid was second in Rookie of the Year. In 25 starts, he turned in a 2.98 ERA and a very impressive 3.52 FIP. He almost had a 9 strikeouts per 9. He was really good at limiting the home run. So the fact that Cleveland is willing to trade Shane Bieber, that's simply because they have Tanner Bybee and Gavin Williams and Tristan McKenzie. They can afford to lose Bieber because they have Bybee. How could I forget that after Cleveland comes Colorado in the alphabetical order of MLB teams? Of course, we got to talk about Nolan Jones now, who could have been a star with Cleveland. I'm going to read off a crazy stat for you guys. Here are the last 3 rookies to have a 2020 season that's 20 home runs and 20 stolen bases, and the same season that they also hit 295 or better. Nomar Garciaparra in 1997, Mike Trout in 2012, Nolan Jones in 2023. That is it. Those are the last 3 humans to do that as a rookie. Another fun fact about Nolan Jones, not only does he rake offensively, but on the defensive side of things, he had the #1 ranked arm of any outfielder according to MLB. He can throw a baseball upwards of 105 miles an hour. Some of the outfield assists that we saw from Nolan Jones, whether it was in left field or center field, the dude has a cannon. You do not run on Nolan Jones. Up next, let's talk about the most surprising player for the Detroit Tigers. You probably thought I was going to go with Spencer Torkelson, but let me go ahead and read off these second half stats for Scary Kerry Carpenter. He had 12 home runs and a 121 OPS plus in the second half. That's in 70 games. So if you kind of extrapolate that to a full season, Kerry Carpenter, he was on pace to almost have 30 home runs with that 120 OPS plus. I didn't see that coming because he's got a goofy swing. But maybe I should have seen this coming and I just ignored it because of that goofy swing. In 2022, his first cup of coffee in the big leagues, he had a 125 OPS plus in 31 games with a 485 slugging. Maybe I just did not believe in that swing, but the swing path actually, when you really look at it, it's pretty sexy. Oh, great. Another player that Cleveland traded, Yermit Diaz of the Houston Astros, set the rookie record for most home runs ever hit by a rookie catcher who played for the Astros. I almost don't even want to say anything else because the fact that Nolan Jones joined history with Mike Trout and Nomar Garciaparra, then you have Yermit Diaz making some history in the home run department, and if we talk about the Guardians, they suck at hitting home runs. Okay, I'm going to get mad. Yermit Diaz is the reason why the machete Martin Maldonado is no longer on the Astros. Yermit, as a rookie, turned in 23 home runs. I forgot he had that many. 23 home runs and a whopping 128 OPS plus, but that's not it. You're probably thinking, all right, he's just the second coming of Evan Gattis. He's probably not very good defensively as a catcher. He was top 10% in blocks. He was top 19% in caught stealing, and his pop time is elite as well. The only thing that Diaz has to work on is framing, but hey, if the robot umpires come around, Yermit Diaz, he could be a top 3 catcher because you don't have to worry about framing. All right. I know we're talking about another former top prospect, just like Corbin Carroll, Bobby Witt Jr. He's my most surprising player for the Kansas City Royals, and not because of what he did offensively, and let me just talk about that real quick. Here are the players in MLB history to have 20 plus home runs and 30 plus stolen bases in each of their 2 first seasons in the big leagues. Bobby Witt Jr. and that's it. Only Bobby Witt Jr. has done that, so offensively, we know he's going to be a freak. But what was shocking to me is the fact that Bobby Witt Jr. went from one of the worst defensive infielders I've ever seen to having a near platinum glove season at shortstop. Let me read off the stats. In 2022, Bobby Witt Jr. turned in a whopping negative 11 outs above average. And then in 2023, Bobby Witt Jr. had 14 outs above average. Negative 11 to 14, almost winning a platinum glove. He was also, according to Baseball Savant, the fastest human in baseball last year. This kid can fly on the bases. He's a defensive wizard now, which thank the Lord that actually happened because I was worried about it. And offensively, he could be the next 40-40 guy. Bobby Witt Jr., he's no joke, but I was shocked by his defense. The most surprising player for the Angels, which is crazy considering the Angels play right by Disneyland, it's a guy named Mickey. Now, we're not going to really talk about his lefty stats, but let's talk about his overall stats real quick. In only 85 games, Mickey Moniak turned in 21 doubles, 14 home runs and also a 113 OPS plus. In the batter's box against righties, he was nearly unstoppable. And not to mention defensively, Mickey Moniak had 4 outs above average. That was top 15%. Also, he was top 17% in sprint speed. So this kid could potentially be a 4-tool start in the making. I'm not going to give him 5 because he doesn't have the best arm strength, but he's very good. I'm going to keep it real with you guys. If you genuinely in your heart thought that Jason Hayward was going to bounce back for the Dodgers, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to report you for sorcery and witchcraft because you're just magical. Jason Hayward popped off defensively like he always does, but the crazy part is Jason had 15 home runs with a 340 on base percentage and a 117 OPS plus. He earned that new contract, $9 million in 2024. He earned that. He was really, really good. I don't know if I should credit Hayward for the turnaround or the fact that the Dodgers have built a well into the Earth's core. They have found the fountain of youth, and they give that water to all of their players and turn old, washed-up players into superstars yet again because defensively, he was top 9%, and again, 15 home runs with a near 115 OPS plus. Who saw that coming? I didn't. Let's talk about the Miami Marlins and the fact that their most surprising player was a guy that wasn't even on the team for the majority of the season. Jake Berger, he had 25 home runs and a 113 OPS plus with the White Sox before he got traded. And then in 53 games, the crazy part about Jake Berger, he went from hitting 214, that is a 214 batting average of the White Sox, to hitting 303 with the 130 OPS plus in 53 games with the Marlins. So they kind of fixed his approach. And to me, again, that was shocking. I did not think that Jake Berger was ever going to be a guy that hit above, 250 in a season? Now, it's not like the Marlins fully fixed him. He still has a little bit of a strikeout issue, but man, he was way better at making contact. A 279 on base percentage with the White Sox to a near 360 on base percentage. Yeah, he was seeing the ball well. I genuinely never thought that William Contreras was ever going to be better than his brother Wilson Contreras, but what we saw from William in 2023 was borderline cheat codes. William Contreras had 38 doubles, 17 home runs, a 125 OPS plus, and the most mind-altering part about William Contreras in 2023, he went from being a dumpster diver defensive catcher to being top 15% in blocking, and he was top 7% in framing. He was stealing strikes left and right, which is one of the most important stats if we're talking about a catcher. That's the only reason why Austin Hedges is making money in 2024, and I just did not see the defense making that big of a stride over one calendar year. With the Braves, he was not good, and then with the Brewers, he's really good. Honestly, the Minnesota Twins were one of the hardest teams of the entire video because I wanted to give it to Edward Julien, but because he was in the World Baseball Classic and popped off, I feel like Julien and Royce Lewis, we kind of know about them, so I feel like choosing Royce Lewis isn't the worst sin in the world, but yeah, I'm going to give it to Mr. Royce Lewis. 2023 Royce Lewis in 58 games. I cannot believe the stats I'm about to read out. Royce hit 309 with 15 home runs and 52 RBIs in 58 games. That is good for a 150 OPS plus, and also he had 2 defensive run saves. So across the board, you can make the argument that Royce Lewis was one of the better 5-tool players in baseball. Now, he is a former #1 overall pick, so maybe you expected him to be this good, especially from what we saw from him in 2022 before his injury, but a 309 batting average with 15 home runs in 58 games, I mean, the dude was on pace for almost 50 home runs. Now, it does kind of suck that Michael King is no longer on the Yankees, but if you're a Yankees fan, I'm sure you would much rather have Juan Soto. Hopefully that extension gets signed soon. Michael King is making today's video simply because I cannot believe he went 1-4 as a starter despite starting in 9 games and turning in a 2.23 ERA. He's probably happy he's off the Yankees too. Again, 1-4 over 9 starts despite having a 2.2 ERA. He had 51 strikeouts and 40 innings. That is good for an 11.4 strikeouts per 9 to end the season. He was essentially right-handed version of Blake Snell, just without all of the walks. Michael King is him. Raise your hand if you thought that Cody Bellinger was going to be a Cy Young vote getter in 2023. My hand is kind of half raised because I thought that he was going to be good, not this good. As a rookie, Cody Bellinger turned in a 2.98 ERA across 29 starts, and he also had 200 strikeouts. He actually had 202 in just 166 innings. Cody Bellinger, he was 7th in Cy Young, which seems borderline disrespectful. A 2.9 ERA, a near 11 strikeouts per 9. Maybe they didn't vote for him because of the fact that he had a 3.6 FIP because he did walk a good amount of guys, but the dude who won the Cy Young walked a lot of guys as well. So Cody Bellinger, I tip my cap to you because he was one of the best pitchers in baseball, and I did not see him being that elite that fast. If I told you guys that rookie Zack Gelof of the A's had 14 home runs and 14 stolen bases, you'd probably think, wow, that's a really good season from Zack Gelof. He did that in 69 games. Zack had 20 doubles, 14 home runs, 14 stolen bases, a whopping 137 OPS plus. I mean, down the stretch, you could make the argument that Zack Gelof was one of the toolsiest players in baseball because he's got the speed, he's got the pop, his defense is there as well. I mean, the A's quite literally have a budding superstar on their hands. He turned in a 2.5 WAR in just 69 games. That's very, very nice. He's also the first human ever to have 5 home runs and 5 stolen bases in his first 17 big league games. So yeah, Zack Gelof, you might want to draft him for fantasy because he's got it all. Listen, if Bryson is watching this, you guys know Bryson is my friend. We played in high school together. This is going to sound borderline disrespectful because I did not see Bryson stop my friend stealing 31 bags in Major League Baseball and only getting caught 3 times. In 2022, Bryson had 12 stolen bases over 127 games. That was more in line from what I saw, but the fact that Bryson not only stole more bags, 31 in 151 games, he also smoked 32 doubles with 15 home runs, and we cannot talk about Bryson Stott without talking about his otherworldly defense. Bryson Stott had 17, let me repeat that, 17 outs above average. Bryson just missed becoming the 3rd second baseman ever, right behind Hall of Famers Ryne Sandberg and Joe Morgan, to have a 5 WAR season and the same season that they had 25 doubles, 15 home runs, and 25 stolen bases. So I know I'm fanboying at this point, but I want you guys to know just how good Bryson Stott was, and he reached a level that, honestly, even as his buddy, this is crazy. Every time I look at what rookie Jared Triello did for the Pirates, I have to stop and remind myself that, yeah, he actually did this. This is not make-believe. Jared Triello is not the biggest power threat in the world, but he had a 298 batting average with a 388 on base percentage. What am I? Jared Triello, he's a rookie, and defensively, he was a wizard as well. He had 5 outs above average. So if I'm talking about a guy that hit 298 with a near 390 on base percentage and played elite defense, you're probably thinking of someone else. Maybe like Andres Gimenez, not Jared Triello. Good for him. For the San Diego Padres, I'm going to go with the Gold Glove winner from 2023, Hyun Kim, a guy that popped off for 17 home runs. And again, every time I look at some of these stolen base numbers, it just shocks me. 38 stolen bases. Hyun Kim also had a 351 on base percentage. And again, he won the Gold Glove because he turned in 9 outs above average. So it kind of makes me think, how did he win over Bryson Stott? But that's just me being a fanboy. I'm trying to protect my friend. I've said this a few times in today's video, but if you saw Hyun Kim turning in a 5.8 WAR, again, you're just using sorcery and witchcraft. You're using the same tools as the Los Angeles Dodgers, and I won't stand for it. Stop it. Seek help. But shout out to Hyun Kim. Hopefully, because of his success, the casual fans across baseball, they put some more respect on players that come from overseas because they've gotten a bad rap. I need you guys to close your eyes real quick for 10 seconds. I'm going to read off these stats, and you can tell me who I'm talking about. This player had 23 home runs, a 136 OPS plus to go along with a 284 batting average. You're probably thinking, hey, Fuzzy, that's probably J-Ram, Jose Ramirez. No, that's Wilmer Flores of the San Francisco Giants. 136 OPS plus? What? He also went from a -9 DRS in 2022 to a 3 DRS in 2023. So when you combine that with a 136 OPS plus, that dude had a good season. Tip of the cap to Wilmer Flores. I did not see that coming. I honestly don't even know what I'm looking at. JP Crawford's baseball reference does not make sense because in 2023, he had a 380 on base percentage, and he led the American League in walks. Now, last year in 2022, JP had a 339 on base percentage, which is still pretty good, but he only had 6 home runs and a 100 OPS plus. In 2023, he upped that to 19 home runs, a 131 OPS plus, and also, for the fun of it, he had 35 doubles. And I just want to mention this one more time. He led the American League in walks. Not Ohtani, not any of the other guys that you might think of. It was JP Crawford. Now, one thing that is also very surprising about JP Crawford, he kind of has bricks for hands now. He's not very good defensively, despite the occasional web gem. He's been pretty bad the last 2 years. I know that Richie Palacios is now on the Rays, but because he was so surprising with the Cardinals, that's why the Rays picked this kid up. Now, I kind of have a soft spot for Richie Palacios because I thought he was going to be pretty good for the Guardians, but of course, the Guardians traded him, and then he got better with his new team because that's what just happens every time. In 54 games with the Guardians in 2022, Richie had 6 doubles, no home runs, and a 69 OPS plus. He gets traded to the Cardinals, and in 22 fewer games, he has the same amount of doubles. He has 6 home runs in 93 at-bats with a 120 OPS plus. I'm sick of this, man. But shout out to the Cardinals for stinking it up just enough to give Richie some opportunities. And look at him now. He's going to be the Luke Raley replacement in Tampa Bay, so that means he's probably going to get a lot of shine, and I'm cool with that. Oh, look at that. This is a perfect segue from the St. Louis Cardinals to the Tampa Bay Rays. Josh Lowe, his stats? What am I looking at? Some of these guys, I forgot how good they were last year. Even though I knew that Josh Lowe had some talent, he was a AAA superstar, I did not see Josh Lowe swiping 32 bags to go along with 20 home runs, a 292 batting average, and a near 130, I'll repeat that, a 130, a 130 OPS plus. Again, if I'm just reading out random stats like this player hit 290 with 20 home runs and 32 stolen bases, you might be thinking I'm talking about a J-Rod. Not Josh Lowe. All I can say is the Lowe family really knows how to build superstars because both he and his brother Nathaniel Lowe, they flat out rake. Speaking of flat out raking, we all saw what Evan Carter could do at 21 years old. Now, fun stat about Evan Carter, to begin his postseason career, he reached base in 11 straight games. That's the longest streak by a player at age 21 or younger in postseason history. He's that guy. Wait, hold up. A few more things to add about Evan Carter. He was top 4% in sprint speed. He's up there with guys like Jorge Mateo and Corbin Carroll. He also had 3 outs above average defensively in 23 games? Yo, Evan Carter, he's special. For the Toronto Blue Jays, I'm still mind blown that this actually happened. Davis Schneider, his first 21 games might be the best 21 game start to a career ever. In 21 games, he was on base 46 times. He had 17 extra base hits, 59 total bases, a 403 batting average with a 535 on base over 21 games. I know that he really faded as the season progressed, but Davis Schneider, to begin his career, had one of the best starts that we've ever seen. To end the season, Schneider had 116 at-bats. He had 12 doubles, 8 home runs, with a 175 OPS plus over 35 games. I'm not saying he's going to do that in 2024, but hey, maybe a little flyer on a fantasy team. I have no idea, but who saw this coming? And last but certainly not least, that John Lester trade could have not gone more poorly for the Cardinals. They lost out on Lane Thomas, who had 28 home runs, 20 stolen bases, a 114 OPS plus. If you guys did not know Lane Thomas, he's quick on the bases and also with an arm as well. He has one of the better arms in all of Major League Baseball, so I consider Lane Thomas to kind of be the right-handed version of Nolan Jones, and we talked about how good Nolan Jones was earlier in the video. Lane Thomas, I really think that he would be great in that Cardinals outfield, but just like the Cardinals lost out on Adolis Garcia and Randy Arozarena, they lost out on Lane Thomas. I'm sorry, Cardinals fans. I was kind of mean to you today, wasn't I? If you agree or disagree with any of my picks, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you all so much for watching. Do me a favor, if you watched all the way until the end, hit that like button. Also, if you're brand new, this is huge. Hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.